And talk to me about pooing properly. What does that actually mean from a pelvic and digestive health physio's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think what is normal is just not really talked about. So, actually, normal is hugely varied and also quite individual.
Mhm.
So, if we're looking at kind of doing a poo, how much is normal? It can be going for a poo 3 times a day, or it can be 3 times a week. There's a huge variety. So, obviously, for everyone, it's almost knowing what's your normal and tracking any changes. But then also within doing a poo, there should be sort of, I guess, a kind of a normal. So really what we would love for people to feel is they get an urge to pass a poo. So they have that feeling of, oh, I need to go. They respond to it appropriately. I always think, obviously, if there's a toilet around, they head there. They can sit down, relaxed, and then they open their bowels without needing to strain, push, etc. So yes, you might need to push a little bit sometimes, but it's about the kind of general habit and pattern that people are having. We shouldn't have bleeding, we shouldn't have pain, though those things are common and they need kind of addressing and treatment. The kind of doing a poo should actually be quite, simple, and we shouldn't feel like we haven't finished properly. We shouldn't need to wipe excessively or cause any irritation to the skin. So obviously there's the dream poo and the perfect poo, and not all of us live that all the time, but it's about working out, I guess, for individuals, has there been a change, is this becoming problematic, is this causing symptoms, and then working from there. But normal can be hugely, I mean, a big variety basically.
So it's getting to know your norm and your pattern and consistency. So it's getting to know the body, the digestive system, and kind
Exactly.
of trusting what your norm actually is.
Yeah, within those parameters of it shouldn't be a difficult thing to do.
Okay.
It shouldn't cause a lot of anxiety and stress. Um, you know, but I think what's a really important thing is that habits with our bowels come for lots of different reasons. And so sometimes we don't realize that what we do is not normal because, again, as you've touched on at the beginning, we don't talk about this stuff. So you might just carry on as normal because of what your parents did. And I see that a lot in my clinics. Like, oh, I sit on the toilet every morning, even if I don't feel I need to go, because I was always told you go for a poo in the morning. Now, obviously, if you're then sitting on the toilet for, say, half an hour just because you've been told to go, even if you don't have an urge to pass, that can lead to other problems. So, some of this is just deconstructing what is normal for you because that's been your life experience, slash, what actually should the body be doing? And the body's very intuitive. We often just over time maybe ignore the natural way of it being, or because of being embarrassed to go to the toilet, or eating habits changing, or having children, these things can shift over time. So yeah, I guess there's ideal, there's obviously individual, but also that what we think is normal may not actually be normal. It's our normal because of our life situation.
And we've mentioned it once or twice there around kind of straining and stuff, but tell me about what isn't normal then. So these are kind of flags that people should look out for that aren't normal.
Yeah, so I guess the concept of straining really, and I think this is where this also means something different for lots of different people. So straining really means that you're having to sit on the toilet and excessively push and push and push and push. So it's like a repetitive thing. As I say, sometimes some people will need a little bit of a pressure just to help them start the bowel movement, but it should help the start and then the bowel movement should begin. If we're having to basically excessively strain and push, like, holding our breath, straining, pulling the tummy in, bearing down, which I'm sure everyone will associate with as what that can feel like, that's not something that should be happening on a daily basis because this can lead to issues with, things like hemorrhoids or weakening of the pelvic floor or prolapse. There are lots of different things. Now, again, none of these things are 100% it's you do this and it causes this. Again, lots of these things are multifactorial to do with our genetics as well. But these are basic things that we can think about that we should be trying not to do. So it's understanding what straining is and why we generally don't recommend it. And then seeing it as actually, if you are struggling to open your bowels, that's something to ask for help with because we need to understand the why. And the why is complex. It can be dietary related, it can be structural related, it can be kind of mind related. And that's our job to support you to work out what that is.
And how often should we be pooing?
Yeah, so and for normal, I mean, most people will go daily or every other day, but the normal range is 3 times a day or 3 times a week. So as long as you're within that range, you're deemed as being normal. So obviously, if you're only going once a week, not normal.
Yeah.
And if you were going 10 times a day, not normal. But the parameters, which would also be very stressful, But some people live with that. That is a reality for some people. So yeah, it's that's kind of the broad range. And then somewhere in that would be you'd be sort of understanding your norm.
And what constitutes constipation then?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I guess not passing a bowel movement for longer than that sort of three
Okay.
times period, or it being difficult to pass, hard, needing to strain or causing that. So again, constipation means different things for different people. But like a harder poo, so there's something called the Bristol stool chart, which is
I
a
know all
chart.
about it. I've been chatting
Yeah,
about Bristol steel charts for years. Yeah, it's great.
it's my kid's favorite thing. When I wrote a book, when someone came around, they're like, "My mum wrote a book about poo," and I was like, "There's other stuff in there, but yeah, there's poo in there." But it's such a great chart, and basically it goes through the different types, so from a very hard pellet up to basically watery poo. And what we encourage people to aim for is this sort of sausage in the middle. Now, obviously, there might be some variety between a type 3 and a type 5, but it's understanding again what's your normal. Do we need to be working on things to help with either end of those spectrums to bring you as close to the middle as possible, because that will help you have a much better bowel movement.
And with constipation, how linked is food and hydration to that? Because presumably there's an anxiety component to it as well, but there's also food and fluid components too.
This is it. And I think sometimes it can all get blamed on diet. And it's like fiber is the only option, fluid is the only option. And for some people, certain adaptations to their diet will help with constipation, but it won't work for everyone. And that's where understanding bowel concerns, constipation often being one of them, we need to understand the whole digestive tract. So obviously dietary, we have what we call transit things. So as the poo moves along the bowel, obviously fiber and fluid help with that consistency of that. There's also the vacuatory elements of what's going on around the rectum, the pelvic floor, and the anus. And obviously, though what the stool consistency there is important, and that's where the diet and the fluid can help with, it's not going to heal that problem if that's part of the factor at play. Now, because there's a bit of I say, a domino effect, it can start off with poos being harder, maybe they are slightly dietary related issues, and then we end up with a more harder poo, it's more painful to pass. This then causes tearing around the anus, we then get a muscular involvement. There can be sort of one causes another, but then sometimes we need to take a step back and then look at everything. And just adding more fiber won't be the full solution in those scenarios. And that's where, as physios, we come in to help with the muscular structural element. But as you say, there is such a psychology with our bowel as well. So we always need to be open. As clinicians, what we talk about is a biopsychosocial model. So there is the biology, there is the psychology, but there's also our life. So again, those things like I'm never going to poo at work. I'm too afraid for people to know I'm doing a poo, or I wouldn't poo at my boyfriend's house because I'm embarrassed about doing a poo. So all these factors will play into your symptoms. And unless we address them all, like I could tell you to, improve your pelvic floor function, and I could tell you to have more fiber. But if we don't address these other two things, we're not going to fully get better.